So startup procedure starts down here. We've got bow thruster, stern thruster, panel, and single engine battery switches all on just here. And then if you have shore power plugged in, obviously you'd be disconnecting that. Remember, we have the solar panels on the roof, so it's not necessarily crucial. Check neutral, and it's a simple key start on this one. Power, power, start. Boom, boom. Before we leave the dock, I would always do a thruster check. So 2 on, check for the light, and then we can do stern thruster and bow thruster, check. And then I would also always do just a little click in and out of gear, checking that, no, I'm just gonna test the throttle. I'm not gonna go anywhere yet. I'm just checking that it engages. Okay, now we're clear to leave the dock. So we'll just start this part of the trial going slowly. I've got an RPM of 900 RPM. We've got a Cummins 380 horsepower, single shaft drive, full keel, bow and stern thrusters on this boat. And we've actually got 20 plus knots of wind on the nose, probably coming from the northwest, I would say, today. No autopilot commissioned on this one just yet, so I'm hand steering. It does feel very yacht-like, and I'm going to run through the fuel flow, which I've got just here. I'm going to go through the RPM and we'll do speed. We are in a tidal zone, so just bear that in mind because we're inshore. Definitely not worth going offshore today because it's too rough out there. You wouldn't go offshore, so I don't see the point in me doing that either. So we'll go from 900 RPM. She really does not make any stern wave whatsoever at that RPM, and we're getting a GPS speed of 4 knots. And let's just slowly wind her up. 2.4 liters an hour at 4 knots. So 1100 revs, climbing through 4.5. I'm just going to get her up to 1200. Okay, so I have red on the left, green on the right, isolated danger over there, so I'm in clear water just here, 4 meters draft, feeling good. So I'm approaching a GPS speed of 5 knots, 1,200 RPM, and we're consuming 3.3 liters per hour. Also, engine noise levels quite low at this speed, so no desire to raise my voice, 0 bow raise. So from a standing position, I've got really good viz everywhere. It is a high bow, so you'll have to factor that in when you're coming into a marina. You're going to lose visibility from that perspective if you're coming into a marina, and we'll play with that if we get the opportunity. And also if you're coming up to a fixed mooring. But I think the solution on this boat from a fixed mooring perspective would be to use your thrusters. Come up alongside the mooring, probably on the starboard side because you've got the door here. If you're going to do it yourself, have your boat hook ready to go, stop the boat and thrust up to the mooring, because then you'll have full sight lines through this window here. So that would be my solution to that. So I'm seeing 5.2 SOG, still sitting at that 3.2 litres consumption, 1,200 RPM. We'll increase the speed now. Really interesting power generation setup on this boat. We'll touch on that later in the video. We've got an awesome amount of solar power up on the roof, and then a power distribution. So we don't have a genset. We've got an upgraded alternator, I believe. So we're backing up from the alternator to the solar system is how we're getting our power on board, which is very sailing yacht-like. For those of you who also follow the sailboats on my channel, you're going to understand what I'm talking about. It's 1400 RPM, just about touching 6 knots. Feels like she wants to go a little bit faster, to be fair. And I am seeing a fuel consumption of 4.6 litres an hour at 1400 RPM, a little over 6 knots speed return. And we'll just bump that up ever so slightly. So, some feedback, because I have driven boats of this style that don't have a keel on windy days like this. And you could consider this windy. We've definitely got 20 knots, maybe a little bit more in the gusts. And when you have a boat with a round bilge and perhaps a lighter boat, some of them are designed to couple with electric hybrid propulsion, for example. But in order to make that efficient, it has to be a very lightweight build. If you are driving a boat like that on a day like today, your workload will be quite high because this wind is going to always want to blow the boat around and it's going to rock the boat. Even though the drone shots are going to show this to you quite clearly, and we've got a Princess bearing down on us at speed. He's going to give us some good waves, so you'll also get an understanding of the form stability, because what I can feel, full keel on this boat, protected shaft and prop, this boat with the displacement and the form stability, she just sits rock solid. So I would argue that the necessity for stabilization, it's not really required in most scenarios. Think about your mission and what you want to do with the boat. We're going to go into these Princess F55's waves. I'm going to take that on the bow, coming in at 6 knots. I don't want to get any water on the front because I want to film this boat in a second. And okay, all right, pretty dry, that's fine, but super comfortable, not overly rocking around. So that's a big takeaway. And my workload is low. Few turns from full lock to port and starboard on the wheel, but you can just avoid steering with an autopilot. This boat hasn't got an autopilot commissioned just yet. 1550 RPM, 6.5 SOG, and let's wind it up to 1600, and then we will do a little bit faster. It's a brand new motor, so I don't really want to go wide open throttle, but I'll just give it a bit more speed soon. Here we go. 1650 RPM, 7 knots, nice level attitude. She's not raising her bow noticeably, so we're slippery, and our fuel consumption 6.6. I'm actually just going to dial that down 50 revs and see what happens. Okay, I'm just looking for my next marker. I should have a green marker up ahead. Shallow water there on the left. So 1600 RPM, just on 9 litres consumption. You know, this is sailboat stuff, but we're getting almost 7 knots over ground. Interesting. Let's do 1700. Okay, I'm already at 1750, so I'm getting ahead of myself. 1800. It felt like it just wanted to go to 1800, so let's just go with it. Okay, still a pretty level attitude. My fuel consumption is nudged up to 11.8 litres. My speed return at 7.4, making a tiny stern wave. Nothing that's going to offend anyone, to be honest. Noise level's still low. So back to my earlier point, the workload is not high. The boat's tracking, it's windy, it could be cold or hot out there, but you feel protected. You feel quite protected in this boat. And I think once with the addition of an autopilot, this is going to be super relaxing. But what it does, it frees up your front of mind to focus on other tasks, whether that's talking to your mates, navigating, making a cup of coffee, whatever. Your life becomes a little bit more relaxing. Whereas in this scenario, with a lighter, rounder bilge boat, I wouldn't have the headspace. Maybe women can do this. I can't multitask. Like, I need to do my thing, and if you fill me up with too many tasks, my brain just reaches like max, and I'm a bit useless. So this is allowing me to focus on my situational awareness around the place, and I could still have a chat and be cool. So 7.3 knots, 1800 revs, 11.9 consumption. Let's go faster. 1950. Okay, she's sitting pretty happily there. I'm in 4 meters of depth, 7.8 knots and climbing. Don't need to worry about anything like trim tabs or that sort of thing on a boat like this. It's really just steer it and drive. Okay, I'm consuming 16.6 litres an hour, 1950 RPM, seeing 7.8 GPS speed, and it's it's really not an offensive stern wave at all. You could still go fine with this. That's not going to piss anyone off. Okay, let's just wind it up. 2050. Just going to do a couple hundred more revs. This is a brand spanking new boat. I don't like doing wide open on brand new engines, so 8 knots. 8 knots steady at the moment. 2050 RPM, about 8.1 knots, consuming 19 litres. Remember, we've got 1,500 litres in total in 2 tanks. Noise levels low, not offensive. You can definitely hold conversation. Okay, bring that up a little bit more. 2100, 2150 RPM, 8.3 knots. Consumption at 21.8. Got a little bit of wind chop on the bow here. 8.3 knots. 2150. Let's go a little bit more. Let's go to 2300 now. Okay, you can now, the noise levels from 2200 and up have increased ever so slightly. That's not offensive, but I'm seeing 8.6 and climbing. Little bit of spray coming up over the bow at this speed into the wind, so you want to probably start thinking about activating the windscreen wipers. The hull is rock solid, no movement, super comfortable. 2300, consuming 25 litres consistent, 25 litres, seeing 8.6, one little blast to 2400, and then I'm going to ease it off from there. Look at that, 40% engine load, 28 litres per hour, and approaching 9 knots, 8.75, probably 9 without wind like this, and I'm seeing 2450. I think I'm happy with that. I don't need to go too much faster, and we'll just make sure we're staying clear and in the channel here because that's shallow water there. Keep watching, we'll go drop the anchor. Okay, so we're heading on final approach to the berth. It's going to be a port side tie-up. The prop warp pulls to port on this boat, and we've got oversized bow and stern thrusters. So you next to the Mustang or the empty pen, Dan?
Empty pen.
Okay. Oh, you're going bow in?
No, stern in.
Oh, right, it's this way. There you go, he's pulling to port. I was flying towards the wrong berth. I can see the boat tracking in a straight line in reverse. That's the keel. And here's where these big thrusters are coming into their own. You're just touching on the fenders there now. Bow lines going on.
Too easy.
Yep. I hope that was useful, ladies and gents. I'm going to do a bit of a wrap up now on the performance and just some final thoughts for you. So experience required to own and operate a vessel like this. Moderate, in my personal opinion. This is a pretty straightforward vessel to get your head around if you like boats or if you like the idea of boats, and you think this is too big for you, I would say come and have a look at it, because it's the systems on board that they have implemented and the design, it's not that complicated. So if you're coming from zero experience, you can fairly easily get your head around it. And if you've got lots of boating experience, you'll be all over this. Crew required. I'd say yes, it's a couples boat. You're going to benefit from having another pair of hands to get that stern line on, and then you can sort out the rest of the boat. The walk around is fantastic. That's those side doors on either side are wonderful. She doesn't get overtaken by the weather so quickly because we've got a lot of boat in the water rather than on the water, so she's not going to drift as much. However, it's still a single shaft, and so you don't have that twin engine maneuverability. In saying that, we've complemented it with very powerful oversized bow and stern thrusters. The prop warp pulls to port, so you can use that to your advantage. If you were wanting to run the boat solo or short-handed more often than not, I think the solution would just be fitting a few cameras. So you could, for example, fit a camera to show you the anchor deployment, and you could fit some aft-facing cameras to give you more visibility out back, or you might just do a yacht controller type solution. So all of these things are possible, and that would enable you to run it. But the current owner of this boat, he's following the keep it simple, stupid methodology, which I really respect. That works. It's tried and tested, and if you want to keep a boat for a long time, it's going to probably go well for you. So you do you and work out where you are, how you're going to store the boat, and what works for your boat life. Life aboard something like this is going to be comfortable. She's again, just coming down to her inherent stability, the form stability, that's the actual shape of the hull, the ballast inside the keel, therefore we have quite a low center of gravity, and the overall displacement. She just doesn't want to move around as much. We didn't go in the ocean today because it was closed out. The conditions offshore are just way too rough, and you wouldn't go out, and so I'm not going to go filming a boat in those sorts of conditions, so I can't speak from experience, but from what I felt under the hull, she's going to be fine. You know, if you pick your weather windows, you're going to be fine. So managing a single screw, if for those of you who have not done that, it will take a little bit of getting used to. So it's just the old hand-eye coordination and getting your situational awareness. But because this is a low workload boat, I believe you will be able to get your head around that. But don't go coming straight into the marina on your first day. Do all of that operational stuff and practice out in the open water so you can understand how much room the boat requires to complete a full turn with just engine alone, how you can use that prop warp to your advantage when you need it, and then you can start incorporating thrusters on top and see how much extra maneuverability you get. Once you got all those skill sets down pat out in the open, then you can come into the marina and start having to play around. You'll find it's actually not that bad. So full keel, tracks really well in forward. It's quite predictable. This thing actually still goes quite well in reverse. We just saw that today, reversing into the dock, and didn't require a lot of stern thrust to keep it on track in reverse. Some boats do, so you never know. This one did not require that. Competition's a tough one. I was having to think about that and having a chat with the owner today. I couldn't find a lot that really directly compares with this, because many other boats are focused on having twin shafts or single shaft and also speed, where obviously this one is going for efficiency and therefore lower speed. I was on the Alaska 47 earlier this week, and I can see and understand how some people might compare an Alaska, maybe the 44, not the 47, to this one. I also saw the Nordic Tug 44 in America, completely different layout, but I understand the mindset of single shaft style of cruising is maybe something for some of you. And in chatting with the owner, a power catamaran is potentially an area worth considering. Just remember, you're going to be paying a lot more dollars, considerably more, for what you can achieve on this. So if you're looking for reliability, a good foundation that can go the distance, and a boat that's going to essentially punch above its weight for livability long-term and entertainment with a good number of guests that just doesn't cost a lot of money for you to keep on the water, well then this is it. So anyway, I hope that was useful. If you want to talk to me directly, Manect is the place to do that. Link is down below in the description. Give the video a like, share this with your mates if you enjoy and find this content useful. And just as I always say, use it as a tool. Watch these videos a couple of times if you need to before you go to the boat show, before you meet with the dealer. Hopefully it will save you time in your search to find whatever your boat life or best boat life should look like. Thanks again. Next video coming up. Hopefully a similar boat to this that you'll see some value out of. Love you lots. See you in the next one.